Today we're going to be changing the reed plates on a VForce3. This is out of my KTM 200, and as you can see, they are chipped a little bit. People are scared to replace the reed plates, and a lot of people don't know that you can replace these on a VForce, right? They think it's just made like that and you have to buy a whole new cage because there's no bolts or anything that holds it on. And that's one thing I like about the VForce. But let's go ahead and get into replacing these. And what I like about it comes with instructions and all that good stuff, but they're kind of useless. So I'm just going to show you how to do it today. Before separating the cage, one thing I want to fill you in on is, see this serial number at the bottom? And on the outer ring, there's a serial number, right? So a lot of people will try to memorize those and put it back the same. One easy way that I found out to do that is there is a serial number on the inside of the cage, and this is the ring. So we know this serial number lines up with the 2 bolt holes on the bottom, right? And then the outer ring, there's 3 bolt holes. So when I go to put this back together, I'm just going to make sure this serial number is at the bottom. That way it goes back in the way it came out. You just want to take the palm of your hand and just push. There's a little bit of a gap here, around here, and what that will allow you to do is push the reed cage apart. And you can heard it, as you heard it popped, and it doesn't take a lot of pressure to get these to pop out. And as you can see, it's starting to come out, and it should pop off just like that. Reed cage part is off, and there's little snap rings in this thing. It's made into it. So all these do is come off like right here. It's like little notches that your plate's set in. And as you can see, you can pop them right off, right? And what I like to do before I get any farther is test the new ones, just in case they're not right. And if they're not right, you can always send them back. But as you can see, they are the correct ones. They fit on there, no problem. You're going to have a little notch with like a little wedge in there. That's for the inside. There's one on the other side also. And this is where you're going to take a little screwdriver and you're going to kind of get in the middle, like right in here inside. And you kind of just want to push it like that. As you can see, it popped right out. I like to do the same thing on the other side. And what I like to do is keep these on the same side that it goes on. So I'm going to keep that right there. Keep that right there. And then these reed plates should pop right out. Just like that. Nothing too hard, super simple, and super easy. Put our new reed plates in, you just reverse everything you did. Now down in here, there's gonna be notches like there's on the top, but they're down in there. So when you seat these plates, you push it all the way to the back, and you make sure that they seated, because if not, you might tear them up. So I like to take a screwdriver very lightly and just press down back in there and kind of seat that. That way I know it's going to stay. And then you want to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Push it all the way. And they are fully seated. I'm gonna get in there real close and make sure they are on the notches. Go ahead and put your wedge back in. As you can see, there's a certain way it has to go back in. Make sure you remember which way. This is the side it sticks out. This is the side it goes in. Now when you go to push it in, make sure it catches on the notches. Like I said, there is notches down in the inside like this. So basically what you're doing is you're actually pushing this over the notches. And what I like to do when I'm doing this part is look down in here, and you can see this catching. They're just like these ones, but this piece, like this on the side, see there's like a little groove here. Basically, all this is doing is sliding over that groove inside. So make sure you get that seated right. So I like to leave this one out, and I like to go ahead and start this side also. Goes in like this. So this is what you're left with. I'm going to bring you in closer so you can get an idea of how it looks. This is what the outsides are going to look like, right? So your little groove goes on the bottom like that, and your bigger groove goes on the top when it's sitting like this on both sides. So if we look down in here, you can see what I'm talking about. If you look, you can see the little notches that I'm talking about right there that it's sliding over. That little notch right there, this notch. And as you can see, as you slide it in, that thing locks into place on both sides. So now that you have an understanding how they go in, like I said, that's what they look like. And you just go ahead and push them in flush with the cage while you're keeping an eye on pushing it in. Always keep my eyes down in here where I can see to make sure they fully seat when you're pushing them in. Sometimes you have to just push it down on the table. I like to take the end of a screwdriver, push them in, and all they have to be is flush with this. You don't have to go any farther as long as they are flush. All right, so now for the top, you just stick it on like this. Just like that. The last step is putting the shell on, and like I mentioned earlier, just make sure you kind of snap them down in there pretty good. Always remember where your numbers go, right? So you're gonna have numbers here, and we have numbers on the top. So we know these numbers, we know these go on the bottom between the two bolt holes, and it's nothing at the top. So which I'll show you. So when you go to put this back together, there is little notches made into the cage right here, as you can see right here. And you're just gonna set it down in there very carefully. Always want to double check and make sure your reed plates are still on. Then we can go ahead very carefully and slow, and it pops just in like that right there. And as you can see, this is between the two bolt holes, and that's where it was before. That is basically how you replace your reed pedals on your V-Force. Super easy. A lot of people don't know about replacing them, and a lot of people are scared because they're afraid to break something. You're not going to break anything. Just take your time like we did and just memorize where all this stuff goes and put it back together. Some people even put a mark here, but I wouldn't go as far as that. That's basically it. It's that simple. If you follow these instructions, it's a lot simpler than what they give you here, and that's how you do it. So you'll be good, ready to rip. And honestly, you're supposed to do these every 100 hours, so I always just buy extra just in case. It's a maintenance item, so a lot of people forget about it and don't really mess with them. So make sure you always have these on hand, because if they chip like this or they get holes in them, your bike's going to be really hard to start, and the mixture is going to be off and all that good stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I wanted to make a video on that because nobody on YouTube seems to do these. You can do this in under like 5 minutes. It's that simple. So hope you guys enjoy. Right on.